So the one big thing that I really like about Favreau and Filoni as of late is that they really are promoting Mando Season 3, and yes, even Season 4 before it even has begun filming, and how it really is going to tie in with the beginning of the evolution of the Star Wars franchise when it comes to the Mandoverse at large, and exactly how it's going to lead to bigger and better things for the franchise. And when it comes to characters like Grogu, Din, Luke, Ahsoka, and others, it's just the beginning when it comes to Mando 3, Ahsoka, and Mando 4. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to actually see future Star Wars updates. I'm also on Twitter at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the kind and great support. Now that brings us to exactly what is really going on with Jon and Dave, and a specific revelation that they have been working on for well over 3 years now. Now, as you all know, Dave Filoni is a true protege of George Lucas. He is literally like the guy that has all the knowledge of George Lucas. He worked hand in hand with George a whole lot more than Jon Favreau did, let's be honest about that. So that's why I always say that Dave Filoni knows more about the lore of Star Wars. Meanwhile, Favreau, even though he knows a lot about lore, he's really more of a better filmmaker, I think, or a better storyteller in a sense when it comes to stuff like that, of how it flows and how it's put together, stuff like that. They're both technically equal, but they all have their ups and downs to an extent. It's hard to explain. Now, when you look at what Jon and Dave have been teasing for The Mandalorian Season 4, because they are writing this actual season alongside promoting Mando Season 3 and producing, of course, and developing Ahsoka Season 1, and how they're already pitching a Season 2 for that series. However, with many new Star Wars revelations set to be explored in the coming Mandalorian 4, both Favreau and Filoni are planning to do something that will live up to the I am your father moment in Empire. In a recent interview that Favreau took part in, he was actually being questioned about the future of The Mandalorian. Then he went on to discuss his plans for the big twist and turn in The Mandalorian Season 4 that he is currently writing still to this day. Now, Favreau went on to state the following: "In my mind, what we are about to do with Grogu and establish in the upcoming 4th season of The Mandalorian is going to make fans go insane. I'm fully optimistic that fans won't be able to stop talking about what we have in store for the 4th season when it involves Grogu's true identity and who or what he really is, and why he is so valuable. It's going to be a game changer that's for sure going to really make fans go wild. And George even informed us that this will surpass the I am your father moment if we execute this correctly when all is finished once it arrives on Disney+. Now I want to pause here quick about what Favreau is teasing and putting out there. Number one is that he is saying that this is going to make fans go crazy and insane, and will basically have fans talking about this for years upon years. Now, I don't know about you guys, but it's going to be a very hard thing to believe that this could very well beat the I am your father moment, but if George Lucas said that, I'm very optimistic here, just as Jon Favreau said, that he himself is optimistic about that it could very well do that if they execute this very well. Now again, this must really be a concrete, well-established twist and turn for George Lucas to come out and say that to Jon and Dave, that this really is going to beat the I am your father moment as far as shock value goes, as far as how fast it's going to spread and how long it's going to stay in pop culture, right? And it really makes you wonder what really is going on here. Now, we already know from the storyboards that we have talked about for Mando Season 4 that they are planning to give Grogu a true name, his real name, and origins of his home planet that belongs to also Yoda and Yaddle. We already talked about how in one of the storyboards, Grogu is actually referenced as Yoral, Y-O-R-A-L, and his last name being Minch, where each and every character of the Yoda species actually holds that Minch surname, which is a little strange, I know, but that's a system with the Yoda species. which, by the way, we're also going to be learning about what they are really called. Now, on top of this, Favreau really puts it out there that what they are about to reveal in Mando 4, it is going to actually be something very different that we have never seen before. So he goes on to say, we are also focused on Grogu's identity truly changing how you will view all Skywalker trilogies across the board, and how it will impact your perception of many of the well-established characters that you grew up with. It's a revelation that we have been working on for 3 years now, and it's coming together very well. Grogu's identity will be teased in some shows before the 4th season arrives, but not until we put out the 4th season will we unveil the full story. Now, the thing that I really do want to elaborate here about what Jon Favreau is saying is that this revelation, this twist and turn, he actually said this about 2 weeks ago, that he's not over-exaggerating and he's not really, over-praising his work at all. He's not really making things sound a whole lot better than they really are. He genuinely believes that this is going to be one of the biggest revelations of all time when it comes to Star Wars, and that Grogu's revelation of himself, it's not just going to be about him, it's also going to be about how Grogu's revelation will be connected to all the characters that are very much embedded within pop culture. This could very well have to do with Anakin, Palpatine, Luke, Obi-Wan, whoever may be in the originals, sequels, and prequels. So that brings us to the next big thing here, is that George Lucas literally telling Jon and Dave that this is going to surpass the I'm your father moment. Now again, exploring that, it really makes you wonder, how is it really going to be able to pull that off? I'm not doubting Jon and Dave, all I'm saying is that that is going to be a very difficult task to really pull off. And it's not just about what the twist and or turn is, but it's also going to be about how it's presented, which Jon Favreau really alluded to. He said that this has to be executed perfectly to make it work. It's not just about what the revelation is, but it's also about how the revelation is going to actually be presented. And yeah, that's all that really kind of matters, right? Vader could have just came out and said, I'm your father, Luke. Wouldn't have worked, right? But the build-up, the emotion, what happens to Luke before it's unveiled is what made it work. And that's what they're going to do with this Grogu revelation. So overall, there's a lot of work being poured into this. I really got to give a lot of claps to Jon and Dave for at least keeping fans in the loop, hyping up the fans by staying vocal and direct with the fandom, and just really kind of building things up to The Mandalorian Season 4. As we said before, Jon Favreau teased that Mando 4 will be the end of the series unless it proves to be wildly successful, where then he would plan to do a Season 6 at the very top of The Mandalorian. So anyways, drop a comment below, guys. Let me know what you guys have to say about all of this below in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.